Rian Johnson is an unconscious retard. Part 9 of 10. Does Rian Johnson know that he's unconscious? No. Possibly an unconscious smart person would know that. Does Rian Johnson know he's a retard? No. Perhaps only a conscious retard would know that. These questions are much different than questions like, do liars know they're liars? 'Twas a discovery of mine earlier this year that liars aren't liars, because in order to be a liar, you have to believe in truth in the first place. That's a very different subject than unconscious retards like Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson is essentially an inanimate object. He's on a smaller level than an insect, and I'm not sure whether he'd be above like a inanimate object like a rock or a I don't know, a dead leaf. I mean, I've seen more life in dead bodies. I'd like to repeat the only scenario where I would forgive Disney and Kathleen Kennedy and all of the criminals involved in this bullshit, even little Rian Johnson. This would be the only scenario. They would have to have a CGI Rian Johnson as Salacious Crumb, accompanied by a CGI Kathleen Kennedy as a character of a Jabba the Hutt. And every time Kathleen Kennedy said something, Rian Johnson would giggle. Little Salacious Ryan would giggle. Then I would be like, okay, that was good. That makes it all worthwhile. Hey Ryan, your career future theory sucks. I wouldn't want that on anyone. Even you poor stooge. You're too silly. You're too stupid to even dislike. I mean, you know not what you're doing. And guess what, ladies? He's single. I imagine he's single. Oh, you silly people. Kathleen the Hutt and Salacious Johnson. Now I'm going to subvert your expectations by talking about something else, a few other things. Thank you, Jebediah, for your kind comments on my channel. That makes it all worthwhile. It's all about quality versus quantity. Britney Spears has 1 billion followers, and Mozart doesn't have nearly as many, and there's probably an incredible amount of great artists out there who have a handful of... And this isn't art, of course, but it is better than everything else. I originally wanted to do this YouTube video to capitalize on this YouTube channel to capitalize on Star Wars, because I figured, well, it was one of the things that one of the areas where I can actually relate to the common retard, where like we're in agreement, we have equal fervor. And also to do reviews of movies. I thought movies might be the last thing that I have in common with retards. But that, and I don't blame the retards for not watching my videos. I blame the algorithm, really. And also, like, I'm not sure that YouTube is the best venue for intelligent thought. I think it's better for, pandering and, having a little animated duck on your screen, having little moving pictures and stuff so people can look at things. And I'm not willing to go to that level. Also, I'm more about when it comes to doing pandering to the masses, I don't mind doing it, but I'm certainly not going to invest a lot of time in it. Like, if I can't get viewers by having little 20-minute videos that I don't edit, then I don't want to bother, because it's not worth the time. And this isn't really a career, it's just kind of a hobby. And a win-win, because if nothing else, it's a diary entry where I can look back, and I can even point to it and say, see, I told you Star Wars sucked. I said it. I was the first one that said it, although I didn't make videos back then. I wish I did, because I would have been the first. I would have been the first 4 years or whatever that said The Force Awakens was shit, while everybody else was raving about how great it was. I wish I had a channel when X-Men The Last Stand came out, and I could have said, I would have been the first to say, this is, mark my words, this is shit. You're all saying it's good right now. But in terms of my attempts to penetrate pop culture, which I'm only doing, of course, so that I can peddle high art to them, because I actually write books and like high quality shit. I don't have all my eggs in one basket. I'm also going to make a horror movie, which is brilliant because horror movies in this day and age, you can make them with a cell phone, and you can just say it's a found footage thing. It requires no effort whatsoever. So that's very exciting and very fun. I imagine that'll be highly successful in terms of getting views. I imagine I'll upload it on uTorrent or something, Pirate Bay. Because the thing is that horror movies, no matter how shitty they are, people will watch them. And again, it's one of the things that I have in common with complete retards. So I can actually make a horror movie and I can have tons of fun doing it. I've got a couple people that want to do it with me. So it's going to be tons of fun. Even if it doesn't go anywhere, it'll be tons of fun. So, haha. I mean, this is basically the only good thing about this day and age is that you can make anything you want for free. I imagine Hollywood is on the way out. I think capitalism is kind of dying. I think we're at a bit of a turning point, a tipping point. The last century has been the only time when actors were sort of worshipped as gods. In the past, they were always considered to be the lowest class of person, along with prostitutes. Like they weren't even prostitutes; they weren't even allowed in establishments. I kind of wish it was the time when kings were in charge, because at least people like Mozart could exist. But with capitalism, I don't know, it's just Britney Spears crap. And got almost everything. My last point is about Rian Johnson being an unconscious retard. My second last point is The Irishman is highly overrated, and as is Martin Scorsese. Martin Scorsese sucks. I've never liked his movies. He doesn't write any of his own material. He's a hack, and it's just so fun. I came to the realization that the critics who hail people like Rian Johnson, no, not Rian Johnson, even the critics don't like him really. The critics who hail people like Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino, you have to remind yourself that they're not very smart people. How could they be if they're working for the current media? Right? So you gotta think about who you're listening to. I mean, if you were a pop culture victim, you would think Quentin Tarantino was a great, brilliant filmmaker, or Martin Scorsese. Anyways, I've been digressing enough. So back to the main subject about how Rian Johnson is an unconscious retard. If you like gays, click like. If you like blacks, comment. If you like women, click notification bell. If you like gay women, subscribe. And if you like gay black women, Patreon, human warnings, give me money.